Good morning, class. How are you today? Alright, let's pray first. Class President, may I request to please lead the prayer? Monitor, please check the attendance. Who's absent today? Alright, very good. There's no absent today. Keep it up. So, let us review your understanding of our past lesson. So, who can tell me what is poetry? Very good. So, who can tell me the different kinds of poetry? Right, very good. So, I see that you understand what is poetry. So, let me ask you a question. Do you know of a legendary person in your community? Do you know someone who is famous for his or her legendary work? Can you give one? Can you name one legendary figure? Alright, Lapu-Lapu is a legendary figure. Right. Jose Rizal is also one. So now it's my turn. So do you know who Robin Hood is? Yes, he is a legendary figure. He is famous for helping the poor. So today, you are going to read about a poem entitled The Highwayman. It is written by Alfred Noyes. So, do you know what a highwayman is? Okay. Ayan, so trivia tayo today. So, highwaymen are robbers in England during the 18th and 17th century. So, they halted and robbed carriages of the upper class people. So, they became legendary in the tradition of such figures as Robin Hood. So, they were celebrated in songs and story by the poor who exploited by the rich and powerful helped avenge by the exploits of the highwayman. So, sila yung highwaymen daw, yung mga sineselebrate sila ng mga mahihirap. Because sila ay naapin na yung mayayaman. So, parang nagtatanggol sila na. So, I have here a PowerPoint presentation about the poem. You are going to read it and afterward, read it and analyze, because afterwards, I will ask some questions. So before we start, let us know first the author. So anyone who can read the short background of the author? Anyone? Alright, so thank you. So, poets choose their words carefully for the effect they have on the reader. They sometimes use words which is unfamiliar to us. So, before we proceed, let us first unlock the difficult words. Unlock first the meaning of the difficult words which I have here, listed here. So, try to guess the meaning of the words which I will show you. So number one, do you know the meaning of this word? Cobbles. Cobbles. Okay. Who knows? Anyone who knows the meaning of this word? Alright. So you are right. Cobbles are rounded stones used for paving roads. Very good. Here's another one. Wicket. Wicket. Do you know what is wicket? All right. Very good. Wicket is a small door or gate. Another one is plating. Plating. Do you know the meaning of this word? Anyone? Alright, plating is braiding. Just like Elsa's hair is plating. Okay, here's another one. Ostler. Ostler. Do you know what ostler is? You don't know what is ostler? Anyone who can guess? Okay, so ostler is a worker in a farm who took care of the horses in an inn. So it's called ostler. Next one is casement. Casement. Do you know the meaning of the word casement? No? So casement is a window. It's a window that opens outward with side hinges. It is called casement. The next one is galleon. Galleon. Do you know what galleon is? Alright, galleon is a big sailing ship, especially in times of Magellan. They use galleons for trade. Okay, here's another. Moor. Moor. Do you know what moor is? Alright, moor is an open, rolling wasteland, just like in the movie Maleficent. Here's another one. Claret. Claret. Do you know what claret is? No? Anyone who knows this? Alright, claret means dark red, like red wine. Next is rapier hilt. Rapier hilt. Do you know what this word means? No? Alright, rapier hilt means sword handle. So this is very common in the 17th and 18th century. Okay, so that's it. That's the set of words, difficult words that we have unlocked. So you may start now reading, but you must take note of the word choice that the author used, the writer used. So take note of the word choice that the writer used in the poem. So you may now start reading. Kindly follow as I play it in the slides. As you read, pay attention to the author's word choice that makes the highwayman come alive. So done reading? So here's the questions. So, what is the poem all about? Anyone? Alright, so the poem is about the tragic love between Bess and the highwayman. Okay, so how does Bess warn the highwayman about the redcoats? Alright, he shoot himself. She shoot herself to warn the highwayman. So number 3. So think about Tim the ostler. So how is he different from the highwayman? Alright, he is different because he is noble. He works at an inn. He works nobly as an ostler at the inn. But the highwayman is a robber. So that was their difference in their social status. So what do you think is their common traits or what is common between them? All right, you are right. So their common, we can say common trait between them is that they both love Bess. So how do you feel? How do you feel about the conduct of the redcoats? How do you feel about their upholding of the law? All right, they were very cruel. Yes, indeed, because they shoot the highwayman like a dog down the road, and then they treated Bess very, very bad because they tied her and used her as as a bait for the highwayman. So next is let us analyze literary the literary piece. So what do you think? What kind of poetry is the poem? Yes, it is a narrative poem. And it is a ballad because it tells a story between Bess and the highwayman. So, what did you notice about the word choice of the author? Right. All right. He used powerful words like he he used the word, instead of using blunt, he used moldy hay while describing Tim the Ostler. So, and he also used very metaphorical phrases like, ano, the wind was a torrent, ganyan. Among the gusty trees. So, how about the writer's style? What did you notice? So, the writer's style, the writer uses powerful words. So he used elements that makes up the poetry became powerful. And when he is describing the highwayman, he used powerful words to describe him to make the highwayman come alive. So these elements are called that he used are called elements of poetry. So we will discuss about the elements of poetry. So what are the elements of poetry? Do you have any idea? Alright, so number one, elements of poetry is a form. So form is the way a poem looks on the page. So the form can add to the poem's meaning. So poems are written in lines which may or may not be sentences. So poets choose the arrangements of lines and words deliberately to create the overall effect. So in structured forms of poetry, the lines are grouped into stanzas in irregular repeated pattern. So poems that have regular pattern are called free verse. So yung poems na may regular pattern ay called free verse. So yun ang form. So another one is sound. So because most poems are meant to be read aloud, poets choose and arrange words to create sounds that appeal to the listener. So there are four techniques that poets use to create sound. So these are rhyme, rhythm, repetition, and onomatopoeia. So first is the rhyme. So rhyme is a similarity of sounds at the end of words. So example, the wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. So the moon was a ghostly galleon tossed upon cloudy seas. So here the end words, rhyming words are trees and seas. So let us go to rhythm. So rhythm is the pattern of stressed and unstressed syllables in the poem's lines. So some poems have regular repeated arrangement of stressed and unstressed syllables. So this is called meter. So example, tiger, tiger, burning bright in the forest of the night. What immortal hand or eye could frame thy fearful cemetery? So in that lines, the first syllables in tiger, burning, and forest are stressed, while the second syllable is unstressed. So that is called rhythm. So next is repetition. So repetition of sounds, words, phrases, or whole lines in a poem is a device used by poets to emphasize an idea or create a certain feeling. So, example is alliteration. So, alliteration is the repetition of consonant sounds at the beginning of words. So, in the poem, The Highwayman, the line, a highwayman comes riding, riding, riding. A highwayman comes riding up to the old inn door. So, riding there is repeated 4 times. So the word riding is repeated and is called repetition. That is called repetition. So example naman ng alliteration, over the cobbles, he clattered and clashed in the dark inn-yard. So ang alliteration dyan is yung cobbles, clattered, and clashed. They all starts in C. So repetition siya of consonant sound. So yung na-repeat doon yung letter C sound. So next is onomatopoeia. So onomatopoeia is the use of words whose sounds suggest their meanings. Example. So tlot, 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 tlot. Had they heard it? The horse hoofs ringing clear. Tlot, 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 tlot in the distance. Were they deaf that they did not hear? So the word tlot, tlot describe the sounds of horse hooves. So that is called onomatopoeia. So next element is imagery and figurative language. So imagery is a language that appeals to the reader's senses. Writers often use imagery to draw readers into a scene. So example of imagery is blistering suns and feather clouds. So you can imagine blistering suns and feather clouds. It makes your imagination work. So writers may use figurative language when they choose words and phrases that help readers picture ordinary things in new ways. So there are 3 main types of figurative language. So first one is simile. So simile is a comparison that uses the signal word like or as. So example is his hair like moldy hay. So it is a comparison between hair and hay. And it uses the word like. Next is metaphor. So metaphor is a direct comparison with no signal words. Example, the wind was a torrent of darkness among the gusty trees. So here, it is a direct comparison between the wind and the darkness. So the wind was compared to darkness. Next is personification. So when a poet describes an animal or object as if it is human or had human qualities, so that is called personification. So example dyan is and the hours crawled by like years. So here the hour was given the quality of human, which is crawled. So the fourth element is speaker. So the speaker of a poem is the voice that relates the story or ideas of the poem. So the speaker may be the poet speaking directly to the reader, or the speaker may be a character or voice created by the poem. So in the poem, The Highwayman, the speaker there is a third person. So it is a third person narrating about what happened in the story. So the last one is theme. So theme is the central idea of the poem that the writer wants to share to the readers. So the theme of The Highwayman is about the tragic life of a highwayman and a landlord's daughter. So that is the elements of poetry. Okay, so let us wrap it up. So number one element is form. The number 2 is imagery, and number 2 is sound. Number 3 is imagery and figurative language. Number 4 is speaker, and the last one is theme. Ayan, so we will have a group activity. So I will divide the class into 3 groups. So each group will represent the three main characters of the narrative poem. So group 1 will be a representative of the highwayman, while group 2 will represent Bess, and group 3 will represent Tim the Ostler. So each group will list all the characteristics of their chosen character. So the group 1 will list the characteristics of the highwayman, group 2 will list the characteristics of Bess, and group 3 will list the characteristics of Tim the Ostler. So after listing the characteristics, you will present it in class and defend your character's morals if you think the person is righteous to you. So I will give you 15 minutes to finish the activity. You may start now. For your seat work, I will give you a table and you will fill it up with the corresponding answers. So in the first column, there is the first element is which is form, the second is sound, the third is imagery and figurative language, the fourth one is theme, and the last one is speaker. So you will fill it up with the corresponding answers which you will find at the poem. So you have 5 minutes to finish the activity. You may start now. So we will have an evaluation today to see if you have learned something from our discussion. So the part 1 of our test is identification. So you will identify the elements of poetry used in each line from a poem. So write your answers in a 1/2 sheet of paper. So I will flash it in the PowerPoint and you will just write your answer in your paper. So you may start now. So the part 2 of the test is essay. So at the back of your paper, you will write an argumentative essay about the conduct of the Red Code. So think about their duty to uphold the law, their treatment of Bess, and how they shoot the highwayman. Do you think they have done the right thing? So expound your answer. I will give you 5 minutes to finish the test. For your assignment, research and read about the poem I Wandered Lonely as a Cloud by William Wordsworth. So I want you to analyze the poem and give the elements of poetry used in the poem. So you should also write the word choice and identify the writer's style of the author. So write it in your notebook. In our next meeting, I will check your assignment. Thank you and goodbye.